Awesome. Yeah, so welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Firehouse Chronicles. I got a new friend with me this week, John Linn, and we're just going to share a little bit with you this week on just whatever comes to mind. But what's been in my heart to talk to John about and do a video about is just to talk about a worldwide awakening, or you could say the entire cosmos, entire galaxies and universes are awakening in this hour of history, in this very moment. There's something really beautiful that is happening, and yeah, so we just wanted to share. You know, if you guys have watched my videos, you know that I've come from a Christian background, like a lot of traditional Christian perspectives, and I believe in Jesus Christ, and He's just awesome, like so much revelation, but I met my buddy John. I'm just gonna give you a short intro, and I'll let him talk for himself. But John's come from, you know, a little bit maybe more Eastern perspective, a different stream, not like traditionally seen as Christianity. And thank God we've all been kind of breaking out of those religious boxes and labels anyways. So, but it's been really amazing for me to meet John. It's like he actually we kind of just met at our coffee shop, and I'll let him maybe, I don't know if he wants to tell any of that story, but we just began to talk, and I just began to see that God was like speaking and showing me that there's awakening going on beyond even, you know, I think for, you know, Christian background, my box is pretty out there already, pretty stretched, but it's been stretching me even more, or just revealing to me even more, just meeting my brother here, and just awesome stuff. And we've just been having a lot of fun, you know, just you know, communing and experiencing what I believe is the same presence, the same spirit, and which, you know, has been encouraging and challenging to me, as I think would be for many of you. So we're just going to have a conversation on camera. We don't really know what we're going to say here, but wanted to give John a chance to share anything that's coming to his heart right now, and you know, you could talk about, you know, what's been happening here, or just whatever comes to mind. So
no, sure. Thank you, Matt.
John.
I love you too, man. Thank you so much.
Totally.
But no, I think you know what Matt said, that truthfully, you know, I knew right away that when I spoke with Matt that there was the same truth that had been discovered, you know, that I discovered, and that's probably what is so beautiful for me, and that I would encourage anyone, is that you know, the truth, the absolute truth of who we are, no word, no concept, no language can define that. And so when you've really discovered the absolute truth of who we are, you don't hang on or cling to concepts so much. And when you don't cling to concepts so much, you don't cling to language, you don't cling to words. If you don't cling to language and you don't cling to words, then you're not clinging to religion, because religion is a set of structures created by the human mind. So when you've gone beyond that, then you can really have a universal approach. You see, like Christ actually had a universal approach. You know, He was able to interact with all different types of people on from all different understandings. Why? Because He tapped into what He was, what He is, and what He always has been. And that is that timeless universality that we all are. So when we tap into that timeless universal part of who we are, then we're able to connect with almost anyone, because we're not tied to words, we're not locked, we're not chained by concepts. Because we're not locked and tied to words and chained to concepts, we are forever free. And being forever free, people can naturally relate to you and there's a natural love that you may be able to share with someone. So that's what I've really discovered with Matt. You know, there's been an ability to really just, you know, share so much of the same truth. You know, the wordless, the paradox is, you know, we're sharing the wordless truth through words. You see, what can never be spoken, you know, can only be experienced. We've found that experience through words with each other, and which has gone to a place beyond words. So I think that's been so beautiful, you know. And
yeah, dude, it's been so encouraging. It's like why I wanted to do a video is to say, like, so many of us, everybody has pretty much been brought up or experienced some level of religion in their life.
yes,
You know, there's just been such a tendency to want to fit God or really beautiful, important concepts into a box or to control it. And well, I just want to encourage you to be like, to be free from that, to be who you truly are, and to begin to see, like, there's, like, the relationship that I'm forming with John, I feel like is like it's a picture of what is happening around the world right now. It's like, you don't have to abandon the things that have been, you know,
yes.
revealed to you, the truth that you have come to understand in order to begin to relate and acknowledge God working maybe in a different way in your brother or sister. Like,
Yes.
you can be free to explore so many things and learn and see so many timeless realities without fear of, you know, what is going to happen to me if I don't, you know, act like all my forefathers have acted, or do believe and say all the same things that everyone said. But there, in the midst of that freedom, there are some things and that are, like, really key to realize. We're not just saying, I'm still saying the stuff that I've been saying. Of course, I'm learning and getting new revelation on that. I'm still teaching Christ. But like I said, there's some things that we're recognizing that are, it's not like you're just opening up to receive every single, like, random teaching or whatever. But, like, one of the things I love about John is we've discovered that like, our union with God is huge. The oneness of everything, no separation, no lack, are realities that you know, when in talking with John, these are things before we met each other we were both experiencing and sharing with others, and from completely different backgrounds. In fact, like, what would you say? Are there any things you'd like to say about no separation or no lack? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, what have you seen about that?
Yeah, I mean,
Put you on the spot there.
No, the experience. Thank you, because the experience of that, you know, the experience of no lack can completely transform who you think you are. You know, it can completely transform all efforts to achieve something to become better than what you are, because you really realize that you don't lack anything. So the strenuous stress of trying to become a better person and trying to, you know, change the world and trying to save the day and, you know, all that stuff falls away, right? And so when that falls away, then there's just a beauty and sort of a holiness and a sacredness that is always here, that is always now, that can be appreciated even in the simplest, tiniest tasks. So you no longer have to search out and scrape the world for the next hit of excitement, you know, which is what many of the human race is doing, is they're looking for that next hit in one way or another. They're looking for that next experience. But truly, deeply, to find what's beyond any experience, you see, that lacks nothing, that is the timeless experience, which is not an experience. That is to truly know what no separation is. And things will naturally fall into place from there. It doesn't have to be where you're trying to figure out and plan and adjust your life. Life is just unfolding, and there is a universal embrace and a universal connectivity to that unfolding. And when that occurs, there is just such a beauty and a simplicity to life that to go back living from the egoic, striving perspective, it begins to sound silly.
Come on, dude. Yeah, so I just love when John shares, man. You know, when we met, it was like, just, I don't know, dude, it was just wild for me just to hear like so many of the same things being revealed. And that's what I feel like, you know, in the Christian background, the charismatic world, I used to believe that the whole world awakening, or everybody coming into one, was like an Antichrist teaching. Or something like, oh, the Antichrist is going to bring the whole world together in one and make it one big happy place, and that's the big thing you got to be afraid of. And some of you may still believe that. That's fine. I don't know. It's whatever. But I just see now, like, I'm beginning to recognize that God is so good that, man, God is speaking in so many different various, like, you know, time, places, languages, within the context, and revealing what is really important to God's heart. Is, you know, there's so many side things we can talk about, but what I see with John, and what the centrality of my message in teaching Christ is revealing that we are all one with God. There's all the virtue, all the power and the glory, and whatever you thought was reserved for heaven, whatever you thought was reserved just for God, is dwelling inside of you as you, releasing you into a life of such bliss and such joy and complete peace and perfect satisfaction that you know, it's always been God's heart to reveal these things to us. Like that, I think these were the things that you know, God was showing Adam and Eve before the fall. I believe the fall was a fall of independent mindset, you know, where they began to try to live in separation. And so, you know, I'm just talking about some of the similarities, but I believe a lot of the similarities that we're experiencing are things that God is revealing across the board, and they're the main things. There's a lot of little things we could argue about, and I'm just getting to know John, we're getting to know each other. We have things we disagree on, and, you know, it's whatever, but there's an amazing message of union and no lack, and just experiencing the presence of God, which man, it's so good. It produces such fruit of love and joy and peace, patience, and that's what I see in my brother's life, which speaks way more than doctrines, which, you know, whoa, there's a lot on that. It's like the doctrines that we carry are really all about producing that true fruit of love and joy and peace. So it's like, I believe, you know, this is what Jesus said, you know them by their fruit. But what was the fruit? The fruit was not numbers of people that raised their hand to say, I believe in Jesus. Or it wasn't, you know, whatever you think it might be, money or building churches or building buildings. It's about true love and joy, and the things that, you know, are named out in the book of Galatians, for example, like beautiful fruit. And I'm just ready to see that become way more important than our little teachings that we have and stuff like that. And so, actually, you know, I'm just feeling, and I don't know if you're feeling this, but we'll probably come to the end of our little video session here, because we just wanted to do a short thing. But I encourage you, maybe, you know, find John on Facebook, or just come hang out with us at the Firehouse and get to see what's really going on here for yourself. But just experience, you know, your union, whether you can come or meet us or not. But I was thinking maybe we could just end I know something that John likes to do is just, sit in silence.
Yes.
And maybe we could just have a little time of silence together. And if you're watching, just experience the reality of what we're talking about. And I don't know if you have any closing words or.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, there's real beauty in silence. Just to add to what Matt was saying, and oftentimes in our society we somehow avoid silence with all the busyness, whether it be through technology or our family or our schooling. We avoid this silence, and we overlook this peace, and through this silence you can see where peace arises, and so that's the real beauty and the sacredness really of silence.